Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 5th of August. Continuing with Robert Murray McShane's readings, one of the passages we read today is Acts chapter 23. To follow on from the preceding passages, there we see Paul in Jerusalem. A mob comes together and they try to lynch him. The commander of the garrison, the Roman commander, goes down, pulls him out of the melee, and finds out he's a Roman citizen. So now he's trying to find out what exactly is going on. Why does Paul create such animosity in the city? So he has him appear before the Sanhedrin. He calls the leadership together and presents Paul to them to try and find out what the problem is. And I'm struck by verse 6 following. Then Paul, knowing that some of them were Sadducees and the others Pharisees, called out in the Sanhedrin, "My brothers, I am a Pharisee, descended from Pharisees. I stand on trial because of the hope of the resurrection of the dead." When he said this, a dispute broke out between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the assembly was divided. Indeed, the assembly was so divided that they lapsed into violence once again, and the commander had to go and rescue Paul a second time, and he was still none the wiser as to what on earth is going on here, and that had to be carried forward. And so Paul's story continues on his route to go and see and speak in Rome. And as I read that, I thought Paul really gives substance to what Jesus says to us when he says we are to be as innocent as doves, but as wise as serpents. And sometimes as Christians we get the innocent part right, but not the wise part. And I've seen people say things and do things which get them into all sorts of trouble unnecessarily. And sometimes we must use that wisdom to avoid problems, to skirt around the issue. And when we look at what Paul does here, he doesn't say anything that is untrue. He just knows exactly where the fractious lines are, what to say to provoke a division. And then he does that. And so, yes, the gospel is about the resurrection of the dead. Jesus came to give us life into eternity. So the resurrection is very much part of the Christian message. And so when Paul says this, he takes a bit of what he knows is the truth. He presents that and knows this is going to divide them. And it indeed happens. And sometimes we must have that same kind of wisdom. When we're facing opposition at a dinner party, and people are going, but you Christians this and you Christians that. And at that point, we use the wisdom and say, well, we know some of these people are liberal progressives and some of them are actually quite conservative. Let's speak into that division. And say, yes, but what about? And get them divided so that the debate becomes more holistic, that they don't just look at Christianity, that they start debating among themselves, and we're able to move the discussion forward, to change the issue. And so as you go through life, I pray that you would, like Paul, have the wisdom at those points where it'll make a difference. So, like with Paul, be as wise as serpents, but as innocent as doves, and be blessed.